he's the guy who designs the posters, and he's the guy who organizes the flowers, and he's the guy who does the work, and he's making us do this for him, and it's just not okay. I didn't work with Tarun, nor did I know him as a young student. But I think my relationship with him began when he started working on Sanjay's films. First Jashn-e-Azadi and then Red and Green. And we used to just spend many days and nights and weeks together talking about things. And when I say I didn't work with him, I mean, I'm a writer, so I don't work with anybody. I work alone. But Tarun was so much a part of my work ever since I met him. One of the speakers said that she misses his voice, and I miss his voice so much because we used to speak so often, maybe every 3 or 4 days, and he would call me, and in this deeply gossipy way, he would say, "Roy ji, kya khabar?" And he was not asking for gossip, but we used to gossip about politics. I mean, ideas about music, about literature, and it was all conducted in this juicy tone of like we were plotting a revolution or something. To me, like Sanjay was saying, he was poised to break through and to create work which was not just poems written on pieces of paper, but actually put together, photographs that were actually put together. His films from GV Express, it made a very, very deep impression on me. And yes, because of the look in people's eyes, and there was a poetry in how he caught that look. I was thinking about what his loss means to me. I mean, firstly, I just move between disbelief and anger because, he's the guy who designs the posters, and he's the guy who organizes the flowers, and he's the guy who does the work, and he's making us do this for him, and it's just not okay. And he, to me, it feels like, I mean, there are not that many of us in this hall today, but whoever is here will know what I mean, that we can't any longer pretend that we are not living in an almost existential battle, and there are very few of us who are still standing, still fighting, or who know when to duck and let the wave pass over us. So I thought that it's like a life raft made out of logs, I don't know what you call it in Hindi. In Malayalam, we would call it kettumaram, where you tie logs together. And there are a few of us on that raft, and one of those logs has floated away, and the raft is rocking badly because the waves are rough and the wind is high. But Tarun was one of those people who was a unstructured militant, so I felt so often that, if there was no one else who was going to take this extreme position that I might wish to take, Tarun would be like, "Theek hai Roy ji, acha hai, acha bola tumne." So there are some of us who will always be those people who will tell this tsunami, this tidal force that we're up against, fuck you, and that was Tarun. And so I was thinking, what would that little raft of those of us floating on it be called? And so I wore this t-shirt because the name of the boat is there. It says Beyond Redemption. So we are those people who will always be there, who will always say that we'd rather lose, we'd rather die, we'd rather be in jail, but we will never be you. And as for our arteries getting blocked, I can feel my getting blocked, because even today, even now as I stand, I know that the things I'm thinking and the things I want to say and the things I want to write, I just can't. I just can't. Not because I'm scared of myself, but for myself, but because of what it could unleash. So what options does one have then, except to think that human beings in times of great repression have managed to find ways of saying things, sometimes subversively, sometimes not directly, but we would have needed Tarun on that subversive journey, because he was such a mischievous soul, he was such a naughty man, and we need to be naughty, we need to be funny, we need to romance the resistance. We don't have to be boring and self-sacrificing and judgmental and doctrinaire, because that's not got us anywhere so far. But we need to be that beloved friend, militant, maverick, and a poet, partisan. I have a t-shirt, another one, which always reminded me of him, because not the first word is Akela, but the second is Azad, Awara, So we need this naughty spirit, and we will find ways of communicating with him always, because, he's just gone to the other room. There's always ways of getting in touch. Thank you.